A new year means new pixels, and 2022 could be the busiest year yet for Google hardware launches. Following all the recent leaks around the Pixel Fold, Pixel 6a, and Pixel Watch, we're going to dive into what you should expect out of the next 12 months. Take a sec to subscribe to Android Central so you don't miss all our coverage in 2022, and we'll jump in. Let's start with the most recent Pixel leak and the device I think we're most likely to see in the near future. The Pixel Watch has been leaking online in various forms since early 2021, showing a smooth, pebble-shaped body with minimal lugs, a crown button, and a variety of Apple Watch-style clasps. The best images we have come from YouTuber John Prosser, who's given us both CAD renders and in-person photos of the device, and has a pretty good track record when it comes to nailing Google hardware leaks. From these pics, we can see a Pixel Watch that takes after the slick, minimalist design of devices like the Apple Watch and the Huawei Watch 3. This wearable is trying to be more than just a traditional timepiece with a display on the front. In other words, it seems this is not your average smartwatch. We also know it'll run the new Wear OS 3 platform, which has been developed in close partnership with Samsung. And from our own sources, we can confirm rumors that it will indeed run Samsung Silicon, likely something very similar to the Exynos W920 found in the Galaxy Watch 4. So, like the Pixel 6, this is another product with heavy technological involvement from Samsung. We're also told to expect new fitness features from Google's recently acquired Fitbit division. Release date-wise, Prosser says to expect the Pixel Watch to break cover on May 26th, which points to a likely announcement on stage at Google I/O, possibly the first in-person I/O conference since before the pandemic. So this is the easy one. The Pixel A series will undoubtedly make a return in summer 2022. From our own sources, and backed up by other outlets like 9to5 Google, we know that it'll run a Google Tensor processor and in hardware terms basically be a shrunken down Pixel 6 with a slower 60Hz display. Other key specs, you've got a Pixel 5-esque camera setup with wide and ultra-wide shooters at 12 megapixels. As we've said before, Google can pull off some really great results with relatively unspectacular camera hardware. So I think these sensors, plus Google Tensor, could still take some really fantastic photos and videos. Pricing wise, I think we can look at the delta between the Pixel 6 and 6 Pro for clues, and maybe say Google might be aiming for around the $400 mark with this phone, and if it's able to hit that price point, this could be one very competitive product. As an educated guess, I'd expect this one also around Google I/O 2022, likely launching alongside that Pixel Watch. One leaker is already predicting a May launch for the 6a, so I would not be surprised if that turned out to be accurate. Could we still see a Google-branded foldable phone in 2022? According to our sources, it's unlikely. The best information we have corroborates reports from late 2021. Basically, the decision was to not go ahead with the Pixel Fold model that had been planned for early 2022. Instead, Google will move forward with a different updated model, likely releasing sometime in 2023. Interestingly though, we can corroborate some reports around that abandoned 2022 Pixel Fold model that have come to light in recent weeks. The form factor was indeed going to be more akin to the Oppo Find N than the Galaxy Z Fold 3, a more booklet or passport-shaped foldable as opposed to the taller form factor offered by Samsung. And it also would have been physically smaller than the Fold 3 overall. We don't have any information on branding, but the rumoured Pixel Notepad name certainly would have made sense for this kind of form factor. It's not too surprising to see Pixel foldable details appearing on some benchmark sites lately, but I'd hesitate to read too much into that. After all, we know Google will have its own testing hardware for Android 12L. That's the next release of Android coming in the spring, targeted at big screens. Based on everything we know, I still think the earliest we'll get a Pixel foldable will be around spring 2023. As far as next-gen Pixel Buds go, the rumour mill has been pretty much radio silent over the past few months. It's a good bet that Google is indeed working on its own next-gen earbuds following the Pixel Buds 2, which were considered to be pretty decent if a little pricey for what they offered. Of course, last year we also got the Pixel Buds A, which were praised for their good value and competent feature set. Based on our own impressions of those earbuds, we'd be hoping for Google to improve in a few key areas with the 3rd-gen Pixel Buds. The biggest of those being active noise cancellation, a table stakes feature now offered even by basic buds like the Nothing Ear 1s. Battery life too was lackluster on the Pixel Buds 2, especially on early firmware, and that wasn't helped by occasionally flaky Bluetooth connections, especially with early run units of the Buds 2. So plenty of room to improve here while still offering those Google Assistant features that make the Pixel Buds unique. Inevitably, there will be a Google Pixel 7. Software drama aside, the Pixel 6 series has given us the best reviewed and most popular Pixels in years, and so of course late 2022 will see the launch of a Pixel 7 and Pixel 7 Pro powered by the 2nd gen Google Tensor processor that we know is already in development. The moniker that's attached to that chip strongly suggests that it'll focus on bringing more AI functionality onto the device itself as opposed to processing it up in the cloud. In the absence of any solid rumors on the Pixel 7, perhaps it's best just to riff on what we'd like to see in these devices. So for the Pixel 7, which will succeed the very balanced Pixel 6 at around the $600 mark, the obvious place to start is incorporating more of those Pixel 6 Pro features. Things like a dedicated telephoto and a 120Hz display. And for the Pixel line in general, both Pixel 7 and Pixel 7 Pro, there are certainly plenty of other hardware features that Google could offer to remain competitive. The Pixel 6's ultra-wide camera is somewhat weaker than the competition, especially the likes of OnePlus and Oppo, which have really focused on ultra-wide quality with their cameras. Equally, at the other end, there's room to expand the phone's telephoto capabilities, perhaps with an S21 Ultra-style double telephoto setup. Given how relatively conservative Google tends to be with hardware upgrades though, I think it's pretty unlikely we'll see that this year. And then there's also that fingerprint scanner, which is fine enough on the current Pixel 6 firmware, but could definitely use an upgrade in that next generation of phones. The Pixel 6 was a major leap ahead for Pixel hardware. So even if the Pixel 7 is just about tightening up the build and upgrading a few key hardware specs where it makes sense, I think most Android fans would probably have no issue with that at all. That's it for now. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss future videos, hit the comments and let us know what kind of gadgets you want to see from Google in 2022. In the meantime, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.